if I just let the weekend go by and I don't accomplish anything, I'm going to feel like garbage on Monday. I'm not going to feel like I use the very little time that I actually have to rest and relax to actually do something that I'm going to be grateful I did. So it's personal. Just like everything else, you got to find what the unique point for you is.
When it comes to time, effort, and money, when it comes to what you pour your creative endeavors into, when it comes to what we're talking about here, which is resting your mind and your body, if you're not optimal with it, your future takes a hit. Yeah, you can go rap, Kev, but it's not feeding your profitability.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was episode number 1644. Are you setting unrealistic standards for your partner? Or maybe vice versa, unfortunately. Today, for episode number 1645, one reason we feel stuck sometimes. I saw something on social media recently, and they were talking about how sometimes what is resting your body is not resting your mind, and what's resting your mind is not resting your body. And I think that's why sometimes it's challenging to choose what we want to do, because we know it's going to fill one cup, but it's not going to fill the other cup. So maybe you love nature, and nature is really, really, really good for your mind. You love being out. You love hiking, throwback to last episode. And it's really good for you. It's really good for your mental health. When you're out in nature, things are quiet. You're not anxious. You're not overwhelmed. You're not thinking about things. But you have a very physical job, and you're so tired at the end of the week, the last thing you want to do is get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go for a hike. You know it's good for one side of you, but not necessarily the other side of you. I think that's where a lot of us get stuck. And I don't know if I've gotten stuck there. I enjoy feeling sore. I love physically feeling sore from workouts, training, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. But that's also exercise and jiu-jitsu and that type of stuff is also really, really good for my brain, my mind, because everything kind of turns off. But I also find that when I veg out and watch UFC, I don't know. I don't know if this is something I really deal with that often.
I have a good example.
Hit me with it.
When I was younger, I loved video games. And I would play real-time strategy games. So StarCraft 2 was a game I was really into at one point. And I told Kev back in the day I had one of the top 2v2 teams in the country. I don't know why I always mention stupid stuff like that. But anyways, shout out to Ben Zeiss. Me and him had a great team. Anyways, so it was really stressful, though. And it was really, really good R&R for my body, but not for my mind.
Yeah.
And I remember it was super cup filling. I would wake up in the morning and I would play a game maybe before work or whatever. But I remember I'd be mentally exhausted because it's such a quick, real time. There's something called APM, which is average something per minute. And you try to get your APM up, so the number of clicks. But it's a really intense real-time strategy game. And I remember after the video game was done, I would be like mentally, cognitively, completely exhausted because of all the focus. But I would feel fulfilled. I'd feel good, especially if we won. I'd feel really good. But that's a good example, I think, of R&R that's your body's resting, but your mind is not.
Well, the other thing, I mentioned this before, where I love watching the fights on Saturday night. It's not as relaxing for me if I have my phone near me, because at some point, I'll end up on social media.
Yep.
So it's really good to rest my body, and it's really good to rest my mind. Unless I do that, unless I pull up my phone. So Tara and I are going to, where are we going? Scotland in May.
Scotland.
It's wild how fast that's coming. And that's going to be really good for my mind, but we're all over the place. We're driving like.
Are you Scottish, good sir?
I don't know. I'm on many things. I don't know.
I think I'm Scottish, man.
There's definitely a piece of
German,
me.
Scottish, Polish.
I know Taryn has more
Irish.
Scottish than I do. I think I'm a mutt.
My grandparents are from Ireland on my dad's side. But I'm definitely Scottish too.
Will you visit
sure.
there? Will you visit there one day?
I will visit. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know how that. You've never been out of the country before.
No, well, I have, just not the continent.
Oh, okay.
Not the continent.
Where'd you go?
Mexico. And I've also been to Canada with you, man.
That doesn't count, though, really.
How dare you? The Canadians listening are very
No,
upset
no,
with you.
I have love for Canada and the Canadians, but I feel like you got to go across the sea, across the
You
ocean.
got to go across the pond, across the old ocean. My mom and papa, my grandparents on my father's side, my grandmother, my mom, she said that she's the last person in the family. Like, if we ever want to buy land in Ireland, it has to be now, because she's in her 80s and she's, because she's the last one who can buy land. I think you have to have Irish citizenship to buy land in Ireland.
Interesting.
And they have to connect it to, like, you were born in
your
Ireland,
lineage.
I think your lineage, yeah. So, anyways, side tangent, but
A little bit about you. What watching movies for you is good for the mind or the body?
It's actually interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because when I watch a movie, I like to watch movies that I've seen before. And the reason why is because I think this concept. Okay, Jurassic Park. Been watching them since I was a kid. There's 6 of them. I like the first 3 a lot because I was a kid. It takes me back. But the cool part is I can watch the movie without watching the movie. I don't have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to relax and watch something that I can enjoy, but I don't have to, like, hang on every word. Whereas if it's a brand new movie like Oppenheimer that you suggested, I didn't want to miss any of the dialogue, so it was cognitively taxing a little bit. And so I'll purposely choose a movie I've seen before just to veg out and relax my body and my mind, versus a movie that's brand new that I really want to get into, especially intellectual movies. I need to be cognitively functioning at a high state.
I wonder if maybe it's not body and mind. Maybe it's, I don't know, because I haven't done any music in a long time. It's been months and months since I've done any rapping or writing. It just hasn't been a priority. I can make it a priority, but it just doesn't, that's almost the thing. It almost doesn't seem like doing it is going to be worth it, because it's going to take way too much energy to do it. And I'm not going to get that energy back in any way.
Plus,
I don't know if
you're
that's
squeezed,
just
so when you're squeezed, it's hard to justify putting energy outside of the things that are more.
Well, I just don't know if
right
that
now.
a creativity thing where I want to do it, but I have this moment. Like, let's say Saturday comes and I work 7 hours. And then Taryn's out, UFC's not on for a few hours, and I say, let me see what I can do. I might find, like, a beat that I like, or I might find music that I like, and then 5, 10, 15 minutes later, that's just gone. It's like, this is too much. This is too heavy. I don't have the energy to do this right now. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I push through, if I would be more fulfilled after if I did it.
Probably. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. But here's the thing that I think this is bringing up a good topic. This is starting to feel a little bit like a Freestyle Friday. But I'm reading a book right now called The Art of Focus by Dan Coe. It's phenomenal. And he talks about how we're all energetic beings. One thing that's been very humbling for me lately, I talked to the listeners about how this is the first time I've been sick in 9 years, and I'm very grateful for that. But lately, my energy management has needed to come up in order for me to stay on task. Focusing for me typically isn't a super big challenge. I tend to get my work done and focus pretty well, all things considered. I track a lot of habits and blah, blah, blah. Lately, it's been a little bit more challenging. This is the philosophical question. Should Kevin rap because it's going to be fulfilling and creative, or should Kevin pour that energy, that effort, that time, which you'll never get back, into a creative endeavor that will pour back into your life? And this is the thing that all of us really need to think about I know I'm projecting on everybody right now, but I seriously do believe this. Okay, snowboarding is a good example for me. I adore snowboarding. I think about it. I think, oh, that would be so great. There's other things that fill my cup other than snowboarding that also refill the business. Everything is either a win, a win-win, a win-win-win, and there's a way to do this. So let me break this down. Some things are a lose-lose. Some things are a win-lose. Some things are a win-win. Other things are a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win. So let's say this episode is a creative endeavor for Kev. You pour time and effort into this. This feeds you back. It feeds your lifestyle. It feeds the listeners. It's like a win-win-win. The listeners win. You win. The business wins. The team now wins. Everything in, and that's the thing that I've been having a hard time with as we become adults. I'm 35, you're 34. It's so frustrating to have such high responsibilities. Dude, sometimes I just think to myself, I just wish I didn't have any goddamn responsibilities.
I understand.
I know you do. And here's the thing. Can I just go snowboarding on a whim? Dude, real talk. No, not really. Not without tons of consequences. Not without the fact that, okay, Kevin's life is going to get worse if I do that. Emilia's life's going to get worse. Taryn's life, your wife, is going to get worse. There's a lot. I'm needed right now. Now, here's the thing about goal achievement. Let me bring it back to the listeners instead of just ranting about me and you. For the listeners, when it comes to time, effort, and money, when it comes to what you pour your creative endeavors into, when it comes to what we're talking about here, which is resting your mind and your body, if you're not optimal with it, your future takes a hit. Yeah, you can go rap, Kev, but it's not feeding your profitability. It's not feeding your lifestyle. It might feed your fulfillment, and then will that fulfillment indirectly feed the podcast? Maybe. I don't know. But
that's the hard part.
Exactly. And this is, imagine an actor or an actress who gets paid, I don't know, millions of dollars for films, and then they want to sing on the side. Do they get trapped by that because they can't now? Because they could be creating millions of dollars worth of wealth, whereas they're going to sing for fun. Can you think about how cagey that can be? It's like, well, I can't rap because now I'm so marketable over here. And I think that that's something we all have to understand. The very last piece, Kev, I know I'm ranting.
You're good.
Dan Coe talks about this in The Art of Focus. He says your brain can process, 50 bits per minute or something in terms of your cognitive conscious function. So if you take that and you take the average life expectancy, it comes to something like 120,000 bits of information. He said, where are you allocating your focus? Where are you using those bits? So every time I'm sitting there watching Jurassic Park again for the 50th time, am I wasting my life or am I filling my cup?
Yeah.
And so I think of it like the phone charger, the iPhone charger, those knockoff Amazon ones that never work, and you put your phone on it and an hour later it only goes from 20% to 26%. I feel like some of us are doing that with social media. You're scrolling on social media trying to fill your cup and you're not filling your cup. So snowboarding might be a 10 out of 10 cup filler, but it's also a 10 out of 10 investment of time, effort, and money, depending on which mountain you go to.
Yeah, but like you said, if you're getting content, that's good for the bit. Like, there's ways to connect it better, but will it ever be as good as you sitting in the office? Probably not.
And that's the philosophical question of what is the best use of your time? And as we've gotten older, I don't know if you've felt it, but it's harder to go frolicking, for lack of better phrasing. It's a little harder to go off the rails when you only have so many finite resources, and the last thing you're going to do is take a week off and let the snowball of everything we've got going.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the team takes a hit, the business takes a hit, the listeners take a hit, that whole thing. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think we need to have a good relationship with responsibility, for sure.
Well, and I think just understanding what side you're on. Like you said, if you're always out frolicking, you're going to pay for it in some way. But if you're always out grinding, maybe you're not going to be as fulfilled in figuring out what your unique juggling act is. That's we always come back to that when we have this conversation, because you're very fulfilled when you're working, but you're also very connected to the outcome that you have goals based around, and you also are really good at understanding what matters today matters more in 10 years. So I don't know if you're a great example just because you're so dialed in with this.
Well, I've tried to integrate what fulfills me into what is most profitable as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who do work that's profitable, that's not fulfilling, struggle with this a lot because as soon as you get off work, I remember you talking about that in the past. As soon as you get off work, you just want to go the other way.
Yeah, you just want to shut down.
You just want to shut down.
When that might not be...
Whereas you and I's life and work is very integrated.
Well, I like the phrase, I like aligned grind.
Yeah, that's nice.
My thought is, last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever we did an episode on how I was kind of the most overwhelmed I'd ever been, but I was also doing the most physical activity I'd done in a minute, and it felt really good. It felt like that, all of that stuff that I was doing to my body, going to the gym, going to jiu-jitsu, just getting beat up, was really good for my mind. It helped keep me level, and I know I was overwhelmed, but I felt like I was moving, and I felt like I was accomplishing stuff. So I just think it's another personal conversation with yourself about what matters. And sometimes you got to try the thing to see what you feel like on the other side. That's what I would have told Kev. I would have told Kev, who used to work and get home and not want to do anything, to just go to the gym. Because you'll probably feel better after you go to the gym. And I always did. I got to the point where we would get to the office at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would literally change into my gym clothes in the bathroom, and then I'd go to the gym from there. Now, I'm a sicko, and I wouldn't sleep, and it wasn't healthy. But I was always happy I did it because I knew if I just let the weekend go by and I don't accomplish anything, I'm going to feel like garbage on Monday. I'm not going to feel like I use the very little time that I actually have to rest and relax to actually do something that I'm going to be grateful I did. So,
yeah.
It's personal. Just like everything else. You got to find what the unique point for you is. Do you?
Yeah, I think I do.
Sorry?
The last thing I would share is we have to be effective at whatever our careers are. I think that's important. And I think we have to be just as effective at filling our own cup. And if it's something that requires level 10 investment for something that only fills your cup at level 3, that's going to be bleeding you and not feeding you.
Feeders and bleeders. If you have not yet joined our private Facebook group, if you're looking for more like-minded people, if you're looking for a place where you can be yourself, authentically you, find peak performance partners, whatever it may be, if you're looking for a positive place, Next Level Nation is the place. We'll have the link in the show notes, as always.
Last call, if you have not gotten your tickets for Next Level Live, the in-person ticket is a BOGO, meaning when you buy it, you get to bring a +1 for free. Please send me their name and their email address. You can do it on Facebook Messenger, Instagram DM. You can do it at alan@nextleveluniverse.com. Get your ticket. I'll also see that come through, and I'll email you as well. For the people that are virtual, that are not local to the Massachusetts area, the ticket is $47, and you can join us there as well. It's going to be the very best content Kevin and I have ever personally curated and presented in one day. So it's the most humble, grateful, and growth-minded people possible, all in one room for one truly life-transforming day. I promise you, if you come into this room virtually or in person, you will leave a greater version of yourself with a bigger, better, and brighter future. And yes, you will probably look in some tough mirrors, but that's where transformation happens.
You'll also get to see how much taller than Alan I am in real life or virtually when we're next to each other. Tomorrow, I don't know what episode we're doing because I am out here jeffing. The event feels are here, so it's just heavy and there's a lot going on, so that is on me. But my goal next week will be to have all the episodes chosen, and we'll be able to tell you what we're going to do. Hopefully it'll be a good one. Maybe we'll have some giggles. Who knows what'll happen. But I don't know what we're going to talk about. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep being effective in your R&R. Next Level Nation.